sooner or later, maybe not in my lifetime, the people of Uganda will rise up and regain their freedom and independence and be governed democratically. I swear, one day that will happen. Let me tell you what encourages me. In my lifetime, I never knew in my lifetime South Africa would be free of apartheid. Moreover, in that country, matters were complicated, that the leaders, the white people, most of them believed that apartheid was a religion. So they supported it with arms and wealth because they believed any other way they would perish. Then comes Libya. Gaddafi, I was there with President Museveni when he said revolutionaries don't retire voluntarily.
Yes.
They die in office.
Yes.
Remember when he ended up in a manhole covered with filth, and when the Americans captured him, or whoever captured him, his own people hacked him to death. He was not even as lucky as Hussein of Iraq, who were fighting America. This is the war, the mother of all laws. When the Americans appeared, he went to hide in a Moros hole. It was a week. When they discovered he looks like a madman, unshaven, very dirty, smelly. The American washed him, shaved him, and handed him to his own people. And what did the people of him do? They hacked him to death. What about Egypt? The army commander was his own nephew, who was guarding his resident guards. Who assassinated him? His nephew.
His nephew, yeah. Butereva bali ku mukutu ogwa Uganda enkya mbaaniriza nnyo ate era n'embebaza gyonna gye mutuusaako engalo saako n'okubakulisa omwaka 2022 gubaddemu ebisoomooza of course biyitirivu nnyo ebyessanyu bingi. Yes, omwaka gubadde ng'emyaka emirala gyonna tegubadde nti mwangu nnyo like that, but mugukulike mwe abakyali abalamu of course benjogera nabo. Many have perished, banji bagenze of course nabatuva ku maaso mwe muli ne muganda waffe Jakana Sramani nadi n'abalala banji. It's sad. Bw'oba okyalina obulamu kyebalize Katonda kuba yagaba era yatuggyako, so you need to take a bow and thank God for the life he has given to you. Abayingidde omwaka 2023 nyongera okubayozaayoza 2023 okubeera nga mutugoberera ssaako n'okutuwa obubaka oba response or feedback in regards to what we present to you. Kyassanyu. Tulina episodes zetugenda okubeera nga tukola counting down oba okubatwalako of course flashback of 2022 okubazingulira olutambi okubajjukizaako okwezo shows or massive shows zemusinze okulaba, most viewed, the most anticipated shows ezirese reaction ey'amaanyi. Naye ngenda tutandikira wano olwaleero just njagala kubajjukizaako kubamu ku ba senior citizens ababiri of course abali mu kubagasa amateeka, Dr. Miriam Kobulunga Matembe, Prof o Dr. George Wilson Kanyeihamba, oyo no yali chairman w'akakiiko akali ak'amateeka akabagasa amateeka, chairman legal committee of the Constituent Assembly, saako ne constituent Dr. Miriam Kobulunga Matembe. Omulala gwe ngenda okubawa these are just flashbacks ebimu ku bibuuzo engeri gye babyanukula ekibuuzo kimu n'engeri gye bakyanukulamu. Honorable Atenga Council Medad Lubega Ssegona naye mubaka wa Busiro East, yes, nababuuza ekibuuzo ku bikwata ku succession debate ebimu ku ebyo bisinze okwedlining okukola amawulire mwaka 2022 nembabuuza ne ku interview of course President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni gye yakola of recent ngali mu ggwanga erya United States of America ne munamawulire Remy Bahati bwe baali bagenze mu US Africa Summit. Mugenda kubeera nga mulaba how these three responded to the questions in regards to the succession debate. Muzeeyi tova ku maini, mutabani ajja, nsobola okulumba Kenya mu wiiki 2, nsobola okubeera nga nkurashinga bannamawulire, nsobola okubeera nga nnwanira entebe y'obukulembeze okuwa maama ekirabo, nsobola okubeera nga buli omu mulinnya ku mutwe. Ekyo tekyalimu. Oyo mutabani statements zazakola ku Twitter. Tugenda kubeera nga nkuleetera media round table of course oba kubira torch mubaddewo mu 2022 understanding in depth what it means to have a year like 2022 mu byobufuzi n'amayengo gonna agabaddewo mu mwaka 2022. Naye katusooke n'ebibuuzo bino 2-3 succession versus oba nkugattireko babu ayina nawe yayogerera ku succession versus transition. Kubaabo baba basatu constituent assembly. Anyway, kamunoonye nenja mukugattirako engeri gye bayanukula bonna ebibuuzo ebyo 2-3 succession versus transition debate kimu. President Museveni yatugamba nti yasavinga Uganda a failed state kyakubiri saako ne human rights violations. Abasatu abo babyandolinga batya, babikwasaganyiza batya. Ze interview zibadde 3 ezimu ku ezo ezisembye ezibadde ez'amaanyi mwaka 2022 ku mukutu guno ogwa Uganda ey'enkya. Ate era nze kenyini ngenda kujja ne program namutaalika ebanyonyola program 10 ze musinza okulaba n'okubeebaza. Nazo zigenda kujja mutegeere olutalo olwakomekerezebwa ng'omwalu guzeemu obulamu. Ebyama ebyekusike bye twakazuula lwaki yalugulamu obulamu. Nga n'abaamutta ensimbi ze baweereza mpitirivu nnyo okunyiga ebiwundu by'abazadde, okunyiga ebiwundu bya famire. Nabba kubira toki mwaka 2022 nga bwe gutambudde mu bulamu bwa Jakana Sulaiman Nadduli okutuusa lwafudde. Saako ne massive show, must watch show ey'abannamawulire Solomon Kaweesa, Gabriel Bule n'abalala bangi. Analysis yabwe y'omwaka 2022 to be a media round table. Eyo naye mugirinde as we usher into 2023. I think let's do that the first week of January 2023, the first week of 2023. Tumanye n'okutegeera n'okumanya ebyo bye tubadde tulaba mwaka 2022 kye bitegeeza. Do we expect more of the same or some differences? So katusooke tuwulirize era tulabe abakulu baneeno. Onooza kangateko owookuna waneeno nawe mulala gwe nabuuza ekibuuzo ekyo naye za tukole show 2-3. Naye nga mbeebaza olw'okutugoberera saako okutuwa obubaka. We don't take it for granted. Kyamaanyi nnyo okubeera nga mwebale okutugoberera, tubeebaza. Naalongo Florence Belgium oli mu ggwanga lya Belgium, tukuyita nobwetyo mwama Belgium, tukwebaza. Omulangira Lumaama Kalemeera of course naawe mwebale kubeera nga mulaba. Nozza nsooke can send my shout outs to some of my ardent followers. Muli bayitirivu nizo obutabamalayo nno. Aliwo of course Naalongo Florence Belgium gweno tukusiimako ensuso olw'ensonga nti bingi byokolera omukutu guno n'eggwanga Buganda ne Uganda of course. Mwebalire ddala era weebale tukwebaza. Son of the Nature, awo no Buganda Village gyendiko. Son of the Nature oli mu okay we balina okubeera nga otugoberera oli bangi aliwo omuganda wange Kizito ow'Emmamba Mukutu Buganda Village, omulangira Kimbugwe Paul, ono omunamawulire munnange all the way from the United Kingdom. Muli bangi bannamukutu mwenna aba Buganda Village, mwebale kubeera nga mugoberera, mwebale kusaayo amaanyi n'okuwagira n'okulaba nga tulwanirira enfuga eya federal system. Not Jeff Koinange, but Jeff Major Serunjoji Muchibi, yes, all the way from Canada. Sazachi. Oh, forgetting the state. Naye mbeebaza mwebale kubeera nga mugoberera mwenna besikonyeeko. Waliwo abajjira ddala mu inbox ne tuwayaamuuko ennyo. Waliwo omulangira omulala Ssekyondwa, very good, omulangira Ssekyondwa all the way from UK. Webale kubeera nga ogoberera program on a daily obutakoowa. Muli bayitirivu nnyo yesu omulangira Ssekyondwa. Abali mu diaspora mwenna, yes, mbakoonako akensuso, mwebale kubeera nga mugoberera Omukutu Uganda ey'enkya. We promise serving you, keep serving you. Saako ne ba content providers mwenna abatubeereddewo, of course Captain Edward Francis Babu, Dr. Mia Matembe, Council Medad Lubega Ssegona, Mubiru Njuki, muli bangi bentandika okumenya, muli bangi nnyo naye kale tubeebaza bonna obuyambi bwe muwa saako n'obudde. Kasooke tuwaye program zino ng'ate awo tweteekateeka okufuna the other programs. Weekend kye tuyinza okukola flashback and understanding in depth the events that shaped 2022 nekyebitegeeza. Ata kumi na mpeera bankumire. For now, let's take a listen. Nina ensonga lwaki nonze program zino. Abakulu bano basatu bansonga nnyo, yes, be baatubagira ssemateeka ababiri. Owokusatu noza kamugatteko Captain Babu. Bakulu bansonga nnyo era lwaki nonze ebibuuzo ebyo gwe buwuliriza ojja kubeera ng'ojjamu ekyokuyiga. It's just a flashback. Mwaziraba mutemwazira, but take a listen. Nze muzukulu wa Gabunga Moses Wamala.
I don't have statistics, but my view is that the NRM government under Museveni, because his own son, Kainerugaba Muhoozi, has denounced very strongly the existence of NRM. And he has called the army of Uganda his own army.
Army, yes. Like father, like son.
And he said he's going to win after 2026. The NRM is divided. There are those and the youth who support Museveni being the candidate in 2026. Those who support Muhoozi and his kind, they think Museveni should retire in 2026 and support his Museveni, or rather his son, for the presidency. Several days ago, I told you today I met the Prime Minister. Several days ago I met another heavyweight of the NRM. And he said no one can ever support Muhoozi for the presidency of this country. I said, why? He said he's the most unsuitable character even among the opposition today.
Oh.
That is a strong NRM was talking about 2 days ago. Today, our former Prime Minister, Ruhakana Rugunda Ndugu, is a very gentle politician, very accommodating. So I didn't embarrass him by asking him this question. I wonder what he would have said. Maybe when you're in the country, you can ask him. Yes, that is Uganda of today for you.
The unexpected.
I have written another book called The Unexpected Happens. This is the only country where a leader of a party, the NRM, and the president of Uganda demolishes his son for saying that his son's army, not of Museveni, his son's army will vanquish Kenya in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Only. So Museveni says, my son, I apologize for the blunder you have made, but I also promote you general.
You are now a general.
Yes.
He's feeling sorry, but he appreciates him.
Yes. So that's why I write in my book, which is a collection of essays that have been published in Sunday Monitor for the last 10 years. A collection, I hope we can give you one.
Yeah.
That in the Pearl of Africa,
which
is Uganda, the unexpected
I guess
happens.
I have that. I have that and I've been
Very
reading
good. Read it again.
The unexpected,
happens.
Yeah.
So it is also unexpected that the head of state and the president of Uganda demolishes his son for belittling
another country,
the Republic of Kenya, our nearest neighbor and ally in the East African community, and at the same time promotes my son. Well done, you are general now.
I don't know what that on a bigger picture it means, because in the recent interview, President Museveni said he will be remembered for saving Uganda from being a failed state. But what you're saying seems to be contrary to what he says.
In the last Kenya elections, there was a competition, very heavy competition between the eventual winner, Ruto, and the eventual loser, who many people thought he would have won, Odinga. And he gave the example during the election campaign of Uganda as an example of a failed state.
Yes, I remember.
So some people go as far as saying Uganda is a failed state. Ask Odinga, presidential candidate in the last election in Kenya. He is on record as saying Uganda is a failed state.
But to you, as a senior citizen, what do you perceive? Is Uganda really a failed state? Because President Museveni says we have democracy here, there is justice, a lot of things.
Where a state is spending more than it earns, and the more than half of that money is disappearing in private pockets, which nobody knows, because the government has said, don't reveal who stole the money, but in case they run away with the money and spend it in another country.
Just leave them to spend it here, it's better.
Is definitely a failed state. You want anything more?
A country where a sitting president says he's not aware of the abductions, these are arrests, he doesn't know about the drones.
And the people have died, MPs have been beaten up.
It's enough to...
Yes. And one of his former, fortunately late, minister, Mwine.
Yes.
He was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I talked to him. I said, why are you torturing voters and the supporters of opposition parties? Do you know this is Kanyeihamba, Professor Kanyeihamba? These people are killing our people, and we are only beating them with the chibokos, and you complain. I said, I said, Eddie, you remind me the days of Amin, when people were complaining, rather, soldiers were complaining that they are not being paid. And he said, I am a doctor. I mean, how can you complain that you are not paid and you are not have money when I have supplied you with guns?
He has supplied you with guns and
You
you're
have
complaining
guns.
about the salaries.
Yeah, that's what's happening today.
Oh my, yeah.
Because if you give a job to Kanyeihamba, and the IG discovers that Kanyeihamba has corrupted this country, stolen 1 billion, and then you are the president said, please don't name that it was Kanyeihamba, because if you name him, he will be persuaded to go abroad and spend it there. I want these people to spend what they have stolen in Uganda.
So that it remains here.
Yeah, it remains here. Is that a policy? Is it the right decision?
That confirms we are a failed state.
So I'm finishing a book.
Yeah.
Museveni, when you go to my house, he graces the sitting room. Is the picture. He used to be a very good friend of mine until he embraced corruption. Myself, I don't think he's a killer.
Oh, okay.
Because he has saved me several times from safe houses on his own orders. One time he sent his doctor to examine me whether I was mental. They arranged. He told the doctor told him, no, Kanyeihamba is normal. There's nothing wrong with him. He said, tell those who are holding him to let him go home. So he's my friend. But he's wrong in every way he's governing this country. And his government has become a terrorist organization in this country. And I remember in the constitutional proposals which we passed, we said Uganda will never be a one-party state.
Yes.
We shall never accept dictatorship or authoritarianism. Those are in the constitution. Museveni has disobeyed them all, and we are now a one-party state, and we are terrorists. That is true. I am not exaggerating. Ask every Uganda. They will say Kanyeihamba is right. Sooner or later, maybe not in my lifetime, the people of Uganda will rise up and regain their freedom and independence and be governed democratically. I swear, one day that will happen. Let me tell you what encourages me. In my lifetime, I never knew in my lifetime South Africa would be free of apartheid. Moreover, in that country, matters were complicated. That the leaders, the white people, most of them believed that apartheid was a religion. So they supported it with arms and wealth because they believed any other way they would perish. Then comes Libya. Gaddafi. I was there with President Museveni when he said revolutionaries don't retire voluntarily.
Yes.
They die in office.
Yes.
Remember when he ended up in a manhole covered with filth, and when the Americans captured him, or whoever captured him, his own people hacked him to death. He was not even as lucky as Hussein of Iraq, who were fighting America. This is the war, the mother of all laws. When the Americans appeared, he went to hide in a Moros hole. It was a week. When they discovered he looks like a madman, unshaven, very dirty, smelly. The American washed him, shaved him, and handed him to his own people. And what did the people of him do? They hacked him to death. What about Egypt? The army commander was his own nephew, who was guarding his resident guards. Who assassinated him? His nephew.
His nephew, yeah.
People don't learn from history.
Yes, yeah.
Here we have a stage in Uganda where the father has had to apologize for the indiscretion of his son. The son has said, Dad, I no longer believe in your party, the NRM. It is a liability to this country. And I am going to replace you as the president. When people challenged him, like Ssegona, on the same grounds, he jailed them. When Tumukunde challenged him, he jailed them.
Yes.
But when he signed that, said, you are a general now. Is that a country which can survive this kind of madness and controversies? No. Time is coming when President Museveni will be forced to retire and hand over to a democratically elected president of Uganda. That may even be in my time.
Okay.
I am 83.
Finally, the last question in your parting shot, Prof. As we edge closer to enter 2023, what if God gives you more years? What would you request Him to see? Or in your prayer, what would you pray for the next years?
I
What you
would
request for
ask
Him?
my Lord, whom I believe in, God and His Son Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, that please ask President Museveni, guide him to retire now, today, not at the end of this term, not 2 years later, but today. Because he himself, Museveni has listened to me. I wrote a book called, and I think if there's a copy, I'll give you one, The Defeat
Yes.
of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in the war against corruption. He admits he has been defeated. Kamya, the IGG, admits they have been defeated. His own son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, he said the NRM which his father did is now a great liability to this country. One of the hopeful presidents and a friend of mine, Nobati Mao, recently became a chairman in the NRM. He's a chairman now. And I hope we can publicize in the Sabora that this man, when I went to address Parliament, he accompanied me with the DP party and applauded my speech, which is reproduced in another book, not published by me, but by friends, and it is called Kanyeihamba the Incredible. And Mao was present at the launch of my other publication, Evolution of Constitutional Law, Public Law and the Government. And he spoke very, very kindly about it and about me. Greatest lawyer that ever lived. Not just in Uganda, but in the whole world. You read those statements and interview them. Why did you say that? When I was teaching in the UK, there was another professor called Professor Watson.
Yeah.
Or what? We were the only ones who never went in the classroom with notes to read to students. All came from the head. Today you have not seen me with a paper here, or a book, or refer to this. It's all here. But I'm 7 when I retired as a judge. The then Minister of Justice Attorney General said, Kanyeihamba, we wanted to appoint you acting judge until you are no longer strong. They didn't appoint me. Although I believe the minister told the president said, not Kanyeihamba. I have been on Katebi 10 years. These 10 years I could have been serving Uganda usefully, especially on the advice law. When you are going out, you find a road called Professor Dr. Kanyeihamba.
Yeah.
It was done by the Baganda in the division of Matembe for the services to the kingdom and to Uganda and to the world as a whole. I greet you, friends. Ask God to give me more time to enlighten our people and the world that not Museveni, not the NRM, not his ministers will destroy the power of Africa forever. Once again, and sooner than later, we shall rise again.
Uganda y'enkya.
Oli olabye Kapa? Kapa bw'eba egenda okubba ekifi ky'ennyama egenda mpola esooba. Naye embwa ekibba egujubana. Mu bufunze, Kapa Katonda yagiwa amagezi. Embwa Katonda yagiwa amaanyi.
Yes.
Nkomye ku ebyo.
Kiki ekinnyonnyola ekiwamba abantu onalebo okuva ddala mwaka gwa 2019, 2021, 2022 kyewunyisa tumazeeko na mu kuwamba abantu. Kiki ekinnyonnyola ekyo?
Mu Luzungu, it is a state rooted in criminality. Abakulembeze bammwe okubeerawo kwabwe kubanga kwa bumenyi bw'amateeka. Tibayinza butakola bya bumenyi bw'amateeka. Okuwamba kya bumenyi bw'amateeka, it is criminal. In fact, bakiyita kidnap with intent to murder. Bamuvunaana murder. Omusango gwali gwamusaliza okufa. Bamuvunaana kidnap with intent to murder. That's what they are doing.
Era kyenanoza ne penal code
mwekiri. Yes, era bamuvunaanira penal code. So abantu bano kye bakola Museveni ne ttiimu ye, kye bakola okuwamba abantu is criminal, is kidnap with intent to murder, and sometimes they have ended up murdering. Tell me, gwe mukulembeze, if you cannot account for those people kidnapped, what is the presumption? It is a presumption of death. Era tulinda bulinzi myaka giwere 7 etteeka liyingirewo nti wamala bamuwamba, he is presumed dead. Era mukkirizibwa n'okwabya olumbe. N'olwekyo ne mubateeka ku ntuumo y'abantu abattiddwa omulembe gwa Museveni. Yatugamba tayagala state inspired violence, state inspired murder. But that's what we are witnessing. enjawulo ye n'Amini nti Amini yafa n'ebikolwa bye bimu ebbatirizo lyerimu babatiriza wamu kubanga bonna baali mu gavumenti y'Obote agamba nti Obote yatta abantu ani yalaba Obote ng'akimya abantu nti Obote wuyo mu mmotoka etutte gundi no teyaliiwo yatumanga butumi oba abantu bwe bajjanga nga tabatumye ne bakikola ne Museveni nze sinnalaba njawulo era nkyasoma nnyo ngezaako okusoma noonyayo akatabo akanampa enjawulo wakati wa Museveni Obote n'Amini
tonakafuna
kakyambuze pozi tebannakawandiika
yasinzidde mu America era mu interview n'atugamba nti kyajja okujjukirwako nti yayamba nnyo Uganda okusimatuka failed state okkiriziganya naye nti yatutaasa era n'atuyamba Uganda teri mugamu kwaga amawanga gali failed oba failed states
era nga bwe gambye omukulu engeri y'ebintu gy'abirabamu yeeyo engeri y'oyo omuntu eyeesonyiwa ensi ng'ebigenda mu maaso yabyesonyiwa failed state tekitegeeza nti egudde ebipapajjo ne babironda egindi Omuganda wange yagambye ne babironda mu Luwera nedda systems kasita zifailinga ye failed state njagala ombuulireyo system emu mu Uganda ekola jimbuulire amalwaliro gakola nnyo okulaga nti abantu bano si bagezi ennaku ezo navuze n'empita Gombe wali ku ddwaliro Obote yazimba eddwaliro nga litemagana yalireka litemagana bano tebasobola disiiga langi kyebakoze bagenze ne balizimbako ekikomera naye ng'ennyumba z'abasawo Obote ze yalekawo ziriko amabaati ga asbestos World Health Organization ge yaweredda nti ga butwa
nga nalyo ddwaliro
busuza basawo naye amabaati ga asbestos mugataddeko ekikomera era gatonya kati eyo state tefeirinze mu byobulamu ekyo kiteeke ku mabbali tugende ku byenjigiriza woli musanyufu nnyo n'omutindo gw'ebyenjigiriza gavumenti gwewa
no
titutwala abaana baffe mu UPE ne mu USA ng'omwaka omwana asomera $1,000 kitegeeza ttaamu ze 3,300 ng'omwana wo Moses Wamala asomera 3,300 mu ssomero lya UPE ayite P7 ajja avuganye n'abaabalala ne bazzukulu ba Museveni oba n'abaana ba Museveni abato abakyali mu primary ng'omwana we agenda kuvuganya nabo ku bwa president ku busawo ku bwa lawyer ku bwa engineer n'ebifaanana bwe bityo eyo state tefeirinze mu byenjigiriza nga poliisi bajja ne bawamba omuntu poliisi nega tetumanyi olumu neera babawamba nezinga emikono negali naye tetubasobola abo eyo state tefeirinze kutegeera kwa Museveni nga batta Kaweesi omukulembeze wa poliisi ow'oku Ntikko ne bakuba Katumba Wamala omukulembeze w'amagye ow'oku Ntikko era minisita ne bamuttira n'omwana ne batta Meja Kigundu omukulembeze w'amagye ow'oku Ntikko n'abantu abalala bonna be bakubye amasasi ne babatta Babiriga ng'omuntu akulira sitowa y'emmundu Yoweri Museveni tamanyi ani abatta era n'ogamba nti state tefeirinze ng'entambula tutambulira mu binnya bingi okusinga enguudo nga tulina enguudo ntono nnyo mu binnya byaffe era mukulu n'osigala ng'ogamba state tefeirinze ng'olina corruption ali ku level kwali pulezidenti w'eggwanga n'agamba Betty Kamya IGG naye ababbi bange bakwata empola kubanga nti manyi sente bajja ziddusa wano baleke kuzinvestingawo ng'okkiriza n'okukkiriza nti investor mubbi nti abo babbi baffe even brand them babbi baffe abo noga state tefeirize nga finally nga mwina president atamanyi nti bawamba abantu atamanyi nti bakuulamu abantu enjala naye nga yakulira ye commander in chief ow'amagye n'ebitongole byonna eby'emmundu ebikwata mundu yakulira CMI, yakulira ISO, yakulira CID, byonna nga tabigira ki tabimanyi. State bwebe failing etya. State ye failing etandikira ku mutwe. Omutwe gwa failing. Nolwekyo state ya failing. Naye definition ye gye yasoma mu economics w'emyaka gy'enkaaga tamusobozesa kumanya. It is a failed state.
Honorable, ekibuuzo kino kikulu. Abawambiddwa abasinga tukitegedde kuba bangi benkozeko interviews era bakonfaminga bawagizi ba nkyukakyuka. Bawagira abamu NUP abala FDC naye nga bali ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti.
So oluvuganya olutegeerera gavumenti etategeera.
Ekibuuzo kiri nti opposition ekoze ekimala oba ab'oludda olutegeera kale ni courts olutegeerera gavumenti mukoze ekimala okulaba nga abantu bamwe mubanula cause mwaka guno twalaba boycott ey'entuula za parliament nekirabika ng'ekitaakola n'okutuusa kati bukya demandinga.
Singa baali tebabatta bandibadde babatadde.
Okay.
Pressure gye twateekawo bapapa singa baali tebabatta bandibadde babatadde. Era abamu ku baali batannabakutta babafulumya. Gwe njagala omanye nti omukulembeze w'eggwanga n'atuuka okugamba abakwatibwa abe bano biki tujja mu bbanga bwe tujja babuulira we bali. N'atya okujja okubabuulira we bali. Mu mateeka tulinamu writ gye bayita ya habeas corpus.
Yes.
Ne tugenda mu kooti ne tufuna orders za habeas corpus kumpi ku buli muntu. Habeas corpus egamba leeta omuntu oyo, produce the body of that person, oba mulamu oba mufu. Ekisooka Museveni is a coward. Teyali coward bwe yakuttanga nga n'ensasi olugibuulira nti yakusse. Ono coward tayagala kubabuulira nti ono twamusse. Kujjako yali omu yekka gwe yayogera yali Zebra Ssenyange. Kosi kubanga omulambo gwe gwaliwo awo. Babadde bankubidde ne bambuulira babadde balowooza nti nno nti operation ngimanyiiko. Nga waliwo z'amanyaako. So tukoze ekyaffe. Omanyi abaddugavu ba wano mwayiga okunenya omunafu. Kubanga eyawamba abaana bammwe mumanyi. Ffenna olulimi lwe twogera ta abaana baffe. Ne twekalakaasa mu parliament. Tugamba tuboycottinze entuula. Ne tugenda mu kooti. Ne tugenda ku buli poliisi okubayiga. Ne tutimba buli wamu. Ono baamuwamba bannange amulabyeko, ono baamuwamba, ono baakola ki? Kiki kye mwagala ffe tukole bannayuganda? Kaakati eyawamba n'atandika okutambuza olugambo mu ba victims. Bano tebakoze kimala kuta baana bammwe. Gwe yamuwamba ng'ogyeko okumuwamba ko wakola ekimala. Gw'okoze ekimala okumuta okubata bewawamba. Era n'abantu ne bakigula ne baga Kyagulanyi takoze kimala kutabaana. Ssegona takoze kimala. Abamu balo bataddemu ekirowoozo. Mugende mwegayirira omusajja nkwata amavivi gano. Mufukaamirire Museveni.
Nzikira mbaka munamu yali alese n'ekiteeso ekyo nti batumwegayirire.
Kozi yali ani
Dr. Abedi wani kasijja kutya ku.
Yakiddamu. Yali mupya mu bino. Bwe twamala okukimulaga n'akitegeera wawulira akiddamu.
Bale ennaku zino balina enjogera nti oba tumutungire uniform.
Ani Museveni?
Yakyogera.
Yakyogera nti bamutungire uniform. Nedda baali bakyamu okumutungira uniform. Kuba alina engoye ezimala. N'ekyengezaako okutegeeza. Ebirala byonna sibirinaako control. Museveni asobola n'okunzita, asobola okumpamba, asobola okukola ki? Ekintu kyonna kye nagaana mu myaka gyange eky'obukulu sisobola kufukamira kuba amavivi gange ng'alinako obuyinza.
Newebeera nga solution esigaddewo etaasa bali abali mu makomero.
Ne bwano na mukyala wange n'abaana anfukamiza. Tajja tujooga. Okay? Eno ensi yaffe. tetugirimu kabenje, tetugirimu kugisasulira ssente, tugirimu wano. Kyova olaba n'ekyokudduka wano twakigaana. Buli kijja kunsanga wano.
Sandyagadde kubuuza kibuzo kino kuba omusango guli mu kooti naye since bwe yakyogeddeko ye Kanyeihamba president, I think I have a right to speak about it. Yavudde naga nti ababaka Ssegona Muhammad ne Alan Ssewanya naye mu interpretation ye alinga yagubasalira edda. Agamba nti those people, they killed many people, over 38, in massacre. They don't deserve bail. Tukumanyi omuntu defending human rights ate oli part of the legal team ya bahonale ba.
Ninaku kusomesa abatakwata. Museveni ebyamateeka abyesonyiwe. Gamulema yagwa ebigezo. Tewaliwo muntu atalina right kufuna bail. Taliyo. Naye yennyini Museveni alina right okufuna bail. Oluvannyuma lw'okutta ataano mu abanamu ye bagamba nti bali ataano mu bana betumanye nti basuka mu 15 mu November wa 2020. Era ne Museveni nga bamututte mu kkooti ngenda ne musabira bail.
Okay.
Oba siwakanya bail kubanga nyinza okubanga nze ndi mu government. Kubanga eryo ddembe lya buntu. Ye bamuyita Tibuhaburwa ndowooza nantabuulirirwa. Nti ne bw'omuyigiriza ekintu olwaleero olowooza akikutte enkeera abatakijjukira. Ekyo ekya bail nfubye nnyo okukimuyigiriza ate nga emikutu gye njogererako mmanyi agiraba. Naye tajja kiyiga kati ekyo muvuddeko.
Okay.
Kambuulira abalala. Abanakitegeera. Omuntu alina eddembe okweyimirirwa kubanga ateeberezebwa okuba nga talina musango okutuusa nga gumusinze.
Yes, sir.
Abaana abo tebasingibwanga musango era ffe tukkiriza nti basibe ba byabufuzi. Yabasibira bwereere abantu be batta abantu e Masaka. Bawandiika batya ekibaluwa ne bagamba nti tugenda kujja ku kyalo Nakasozi. Era ne bajja ne bassa exceeding executing a mission eyo.
Aba babiri.
Kubanga ngigwanga italina government. Italina police, italina maje. Bantu bebe batta abantu abo by commission or omission. Atuliyako sente nyingi nga atugamba ez'okutukuuma. Nisira bagezeraga. Nali e Bungereza Lumunga balonda. Kwano gwa fomu yali yesimbyewo kubwa kansala. Olwamala okulonda n'atutwala mu restaurant tugende tuliye tagenda kukuuma kalulu. Nitumugamba gwe oli wana akalulu ko tebakabbe nagamba nze gavumenti.
Okay.
Nze nina okukuuma akalulu. Wamala nteekwa n'okubeera n'embwa mu kikomera. Zimpa obukuumi. Obufunze embwa zange zinsingira gavumenti ya Museveni. Kwezi zinkuuma, lwaki nina okubeera n'embwa okunkuuma? Lwaki nina okuhayalinga wakasaala okunkuuma? Lwaki nina okuhayalinga w'emmundu okujja okunkuuma? Nga nina gavumenti gyempa omusolo okunkuuma. Kyamazima omulimu gwa Museveni sigulaba. Museveni is the biggest liability gye tulina mu ggwanga. Tumuteekako ssente zaffe empitirivu okukola naye takola ngalo bunani munafu. Ate obunafu bwe butegeerekeka. Hiki emyaka obunafu ye mu byonna. Musajja wa Katonda bamuyitanga ne Sempeebwa Mukama amuwummuze mirembe. Yali mu myaka egyo egyaba Museveni. N'agamba nti bw'okaddiwa onafuwa mu bintu bingi. Amatu gaba tegakyawulira, amaaso gaba tegakyalaba era ky'oba olaba nnyambadde gaalubindi tyotyo. Amatu weetaagamu akuuma gateekamu. Museveni tayagala kateekamu kubanga ensi ejja kumanya. Obunafuye mu bintu bingi, amaanyi gaba gakendedde. Museveni takyalina maanyi gatukolera. Kati ow'amawulire nga ggwe n'amubuuza nti ate mu buwongo Muzeyi Sempebwa n'agaa ekyo sijja kukiddamu era yafa takizzeemu. Nange olw'okuba teyakiddamu ate nga gwe nkwotinga ngenda kikomyawo.
Uganda Yencha.
A recent interview, President Museveni said he'll be remembered for saving Uganda from a failed state. He'll be remembered for, of course, reviving security, development. The economy is growing. Do you concur with him? He saved Uganda from a failed state.
Where is it now? The truth is, what he's saying, he redeemed it. It had died. He redeemed it and raised it up. But what does it matter when you revive a person and then kill that person? You revive and kill the person. If President Museveni had got off the scene at the time of removal of term limit, if he had come with a vision to prepare Uganda never to go back into the pit, he would not have come with the idea of life presidency. Because me, I want to ask you, how does he redeem Uganda from a failed state when he has not redeemed it from dictatorship, life presidency? Because why he went to the bush was because Uganda was going in a failed state because of dictatorship and militarization. That's why it had gone into the failed state. Now he came, he picked it out. And when he started building it, then he became a dictator who has militarized the state, and therefore Uganda has gone back to where he had picked it. And
So Uganda is a failed state.
It has not reached where he had picked it. It has not reached where he had picked it. But let him continue. Let him continue, because every single year, our matters not getting worse. Every single year, our matters not getting worse.
Doctor, this year we've been crying about, and actually I saw you last time or previously, crying out for the help of, for the release of Joseph Kableta, of which recently President Museveni responded to that the abductions we've been crying about, he's not aware of them. He's not aware of abductions, kidnaps.
He said that.
Yes, he's aware of the arrests of people in drones and what, but they are not abductions as we term them.
What are they?
They are arrests, not abductions.
And eventually are they seen? Because that is exactly what Amin was doing. You could come and abduct people and they disappear and we don't see them. I want to ask all those people who were abducted during elections, whose wives are still crying, whose mothers are still crying, whose children are still crying, where are they? Because for me, when you come, there is a procedure of arresting an alleged offender. And by the way, President Museveni and his team need to know that according to Uganda law, everybody is presumed innocent until proved guilty. That's why the procedures for arresting are there. They come and arrest you in a dignified manner.
Yes.
Because you are declared, you are presumed innocent, but there are certain charges which are being raised, which are not yet proved, and therefore you are an innocent Ugandan. That's why the policeman must come, identify himself, put forward his identity card. I'm so and so, Amelia Matembe, I'm an inspector of police. I've been sent here to arrest you because you are alleged to have, stolen somebody's cow. Okay? I say, okay, I walk with you because I'm supposed to bow to the law. So I walk with you, we go to police, they put me in police. There is a law which says that once I'm arrested, I should not stay in police beyond 48 hours. Actually, they used to be over 12. But when we were in CA, we said that, look here, our systems are broken, we don't have sufficient staff, we don't have enough, we in the villages, we don't have courts, we don't have what. Let us be reasonable. And they increased the hours. we made them 48 hours. And while you are there in 48 hours, you are not denied your relatives to see you. You are not denied your lawyer to come and see you. You are allowed. You are an innocent person. They visit you. They talk to you. They do all this. And then within 48 hours, they go and charge you. When you are charged, you go to prison. When you go to prison, there is a law. I think almost every offense is bailable. There are very few capital offenses which are not bailable.
Yes.
And so when you go to prison and your relatives come, they apply for bail. Yes, bail is not automatic. There are certain conditions which you must fulfill.
Yes.
And when you fulfill them, then they release you on bail. So that because you are innocent, you should not be staying in this prison for what? Because they are imprisoning you for nothing. Now they release you on bail, you keep reporting, and there is certain limited time for a case to be decided. They should decide the case. Either you have won or you have lost. If you have lost, you go to prison. You have a right to appeal. Now, those bailable offenses, the law which I studied, which I knew, unless it has changed, is that once those capital offenses which are not bailable, when you stay in prison for more than 1 year,
Yes.
with your case not established, not heard or concluded, you get automatic bail. That's the law which I studied.
Yes.
I haven't checked to see whether that has changed. But now, in Uganda, the drone comes, takes you, you disappear. If you do not have people who can run for you, like this carburetor, what redeemed carburetor was one. He had CCTV cameras. So they had seen all those people who arrested them. They said, okay, you don't show us where he is, we are going to zoom you out. And they will see you. And they said, those people have families. If they are zoomed out, they will be seen. Can you imagine? So, in Uganda, there is total dictatorship, total shutdown of Ugandans not to speak, total fear, which has gripped people, and total violation of human rights, and capture of state institutions which cannot operate independently. We do not have the principle of separation of powers. Those magistrates, they operate from powers above. The judges, powers from above. So the institutions are scared. They are scared of their jobs. They are scared. And what has caused this dictatorship? Autocratic leadership. There is total autocratic leadership in this country. Powers from above, powers from above. If President Museveni is not aware that there are no abductions, then I think he has now come to admit the fact that when you stay in power for too long, people get used and everybody does what they want, and you lose control. You lose control of the nation. So if he, according to him, he doesn't see any abductions, if they are not there, then he has lost control over this nation. And I know, I live in this country. At one time, President Obote, by the time Rutwa, Okero Rutwa removed President Obote, Obote had lost control over the nation long ago. I think it was these Rwakasisis who had authority, and remember, they are now in Museveni's government. Rwakasisis had authority, and they would say, power from above, power from above. For me, the moment the word power from above started applying here in Uganda, that's when I knew my dear president brother had lost it. That's when I knew he had lost it. Because powers from above where? Because anybody now can do anything, and they say it is from above.
That's where we are.
That's where we are now.
Yeah.
And you may find many of these things he doesn't even know. But if somebody, like the land, like all this land grabbing and so on, You think he knows the people who are grabbing the land, but they come and say powers from above. And at times you find that they are the ones, and those ones who are being used, the big state agents who are used to keep him in power, you find they are the ones who are doing all these wrong things. Now anybody can arrest anybody saying powers from above.
Does he still deserve to be called a president? Because when he swears
For me, don't ask me such a question, because
when he swears in, he says, I will protect, preserve, and of course defend the constitution, protect Ugandans with their property.
Let me tell you, I'm a person who believes in God. Now the question you are raising, I'll put it to the biblical, the scriptures. You know, King Saul was doing very, very wrong. He was doing very wrong to David. David had delivered Saul. David had, when Saul was fearing Goliath and that kind of thing, and David had delivered Saul from that, and Saul became jealous and started hating and persecuting David. But David was saying, you don't touch the anointed of the Lord. And in fact, God gave David 2 times when he could have killed Saul. But he said, no, you don't touch the anointed of the Lord. The word of God says that all leadership comes from where?
From God.
From God. So for me, whether it is through reading, whether it is through what, as far as I know, if that leadership is from God, through reading and that kind of thing.
Is it still from God?
You read the Bible, Nebuchadnezzar, this God is amazing. God, don't joke with God. God is amazing. He can see you as wrong people, and you have become sinners, you are witches, you are crooked, and he can punish you. He can punish you with a leadership that will deal with you. You hear?
Yeah.
You need to read the Bible properly. But the question you are asking is does he still deserve to be called the president? Who is he? He's the president of Uganda. He's the president of Uganda according to the law, according to the authority, according to his swore by the constitution. The Electoral Commission declared him president of Uganda. Who are you not to call him president of Uganda? He's the president of Uganda.
A president who doesn't know what
happens. Do we have any other president?
A president who doesn't know what happens in his country.
Have you ever read The State of Africa, 50 Years of Independence by Meredith? There is a book called The State of Africa, 50 Years of Independence. This man was documenting the long ago 50 years of independence. We need to document 60 because things are still the same. In that book, you'll find that some presidents who even took the central bank into their house. They were keeping the money in their houses. You need to read that book. Africans, I don't know who created us. I know God created us, but I don't know what went wrong with it. He was keeping the money in the house, bringing the whole bank in the house, but he still remained a president. So they remained a president, and he was running, saying, I'm here, reaching Busia, saying, I'm the president, running, until you get another president. The president who is there is the one who remains the president. So whether he knows what is going on, whether he doesn't know, but what I know is that at his age right now, we need to be realistic. First of all, I don't know what he wants.
Yes.
I really don't know what he wants. And I talked to him many times. You said President Museveni, he says Uganda is not a failed state.
Yes.
But I want to categorically say it clear, and I want him to hear me, that President Museveni is a failed leader.
Okay.
Why? Because a leader who cannot have a follower. For the last 36 years, we are going into 40.
Yes.
And you've been leading a country, and you look among your people, and you don't see anybody to take your place. As a leader, you have totally failed. Because leaders Leadership is about service. And as you serve your people, you are concerned with them. And you are saying, when I leave, I must leave my trait behind. I must leave the role models behind. There must be, when President says, if I quit, when I see these people who need him, this empty, I'm sorry, but I'm going to call them empty-headed. I'm sorry, I'm calling you people who go and bow to the president and say, please don't leave. If you leave, Uganda is finished. I must call you, what word did I use? I have forgotten. I've forgotten the word. But surely, I question, do you have heads? I mean, how can you cry? There are 3 generations now. 3 generations, and you are crying. When you leave us, the country is finished. When you leave us, 40 years you've been leading Uganda. And when you leave Uganda, the country is finished. Then you have not led. I want everybody to hear this, whether they hate me or not. They must know what leadership is all about. It is about grooming people to take after you, to continue running with the vision that you came with. When you ask me, Matembe, I'm sure out there, I have so many women, the NGOs, the organizations, I meet even young girls, they tell me, they call me Mama Matembe at home. So, because I led with the passion, I ran with the service, I did, and I let it go. It is there. But now, when I see these people, this doctor, this hopeless doctor, how can you know, in the Bible it says, Ephesians, Paul said, you Ephesians, were they Galatians?
The Galatians.
He said the Galatians out there, who bewitched you?
Bewitched you,
Who bewitched you? You have ears you can't hear. You have eyes you can't see. Surely in this country, really in this country, however much you love, by the way, I love President Mr. Museveni. Leave alone the president. You leave the word president. I love Mr. Museveni. I've already told you what he did for me. But I love him enough to tell him, please, sir, grandpa, you have done enough. You need to retire. But when I see people come and tell him, sir, when you are not there, we are finished, then they are already finished, these fellows. So that means his leadership has finished them. It has finished people. It has finished the nation. They are hopeless. The only hope they have is in him, which is totally wrong. And me, I end up by asking, but surely President Museveni, what do you want? What do you want? Why do you demean? I remember Mount telling him, sir, remember your legacy. In 2003, this is how many years after? 20. We told him. So for me, whether the state is not failed, but his leadership is a failure. You cannot lead and have nobody to go into your footsteps.
As we wind up, Dr.
And this business of bringing the sun.
Yes, that's where I was coming actually. He says...
Uganda is a nation. It is not a home. It is not a personal home. It is not a family. It is a family of many, and it is a nation. Therefore, I saw this, whom I use the help me to call this hopeless. Hopeless. They are hopeless because they don't have hope in God. They are hopeless. I call them hopeless and helpless. When I saw the people in West Nile, Simani, there was a video which was trending. And there was this woman, she said, Mama Terego. And there was another woman, they represent Arua, or Western Nile. And they were saying, this is the best choice. This son, because he's been nurtured at his feet, because he knows what goes on. He knows what goes on in the family of Museveni, but not in the president, in the nation of Uganda. You imagine members of parliament thinking like that? When I say that they are blind and they can't see and they can't hear, am I wrong? You are a member of parliament and you go and you bow and say, please, all of you, we are here for Mo's project. He's the only one because he's been living in the home with the president. Was he living there as the deputy president? Was he managing the nation's affairs with their family? Let him be the heir to his father's family. But the heir to Uganda, and you see the members of parliament, they were there dancing, eating. I saw them on the video. And there is this Mama Terego, come and I give you breasts, Manyivichi. Nonsense! Nonsense!
Of recent, in this interview, of course, which he did in the US, he said he's not aware of the threats his son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, of which tweeted on his Twitter handle, of which he has threatened to crush all people against him, including journalists, calling them terrorists. Where does that take us? The dad says, my son, I'm not aware of the tweets. However, I'm aware of the tweets like about sports, but the most controversial ones,
but
he's not aware of them.
If
threatening people.
If I put that in godly terms, because I was thinking, I pray.
Yes.
I was thinking and asking God, what is this happening? And God was showing me that He's showing us the level where we have reached. He's showing us the level where we have reached, where the son and the father. Do you know Solomon?
Yes, King Solomon.
You know who was it that went? No, David.
King David, yeah.
The son went to fight David, you remember? At one time. But David was a kingly man, so he won. But when you see the son running with a project in the midst of hunger, in the midst of suffering and so on, all the amount of money that was put there. And then the next time we see the president, 2026, they are moving around the whole country. This is just 1 year, 2 years down the road.
After
the NRM
elections,
government people are moving around the country, mobilizing for 2026 elections. And I saw this man Twadong. For me, when I see young people I want to thank God because He gave me brain and wisdom. Because when I see young people like Twadong, who should be having brain, wisdom, and knowledge, to be able to say, this nation, this is our generation. He's there saying, we met and we agreed that 2026, President Museveni must remain until we say no. Nonsense! Now I must use my words. That's total nonsense. And it is very bad for our country. And that's why I say that God is showing and saying, this is where you are. This is where you are going. But one thing I want to say, by the way, which the young people listening to me must know, is that every generation has its purpose to serve.
Yes.
And the word of God says that when King David had served his purpose in his generation, he rested. Me, as far as I'm concerned, President Museveni, I'm not saying resting, dying. As far as I'm concerned, should not be the president of this nation. He should have retired. That's me. That's me.
And you've been consistent
because
to that.
What I see going on is a nation gone. Because of materialism, because over they are bewitched. At times I sit and say, but is this witchcraft which is working over people? Because how can young people forget that
bow down
that President Museveni, when he was a young man and he saw bad leadership, he got up. He went, I was in UPM.
Yes.
When President Museveni came here, no, not President, when Mr. Yoweri Museveni came here as a young man, when he was appointed Minister of Defense or whatever, I was here, a young woman, By then I think I was it 27 or around, was I 28 or something like that?
Young, vibrant, and energetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we ran with him. We said, these other parties were no good, UPC, DPR, UPM. We ran with a new party. We ran with him and we lost. By the way, they never beat us. They never tortured us.
Yes.
We lost, and then he decided to go to the bush and fight. These young people, I've been telling young people, when President Museveni saw that things were going wrong, and he was a young man, and this was his generation, he rose up.
He stood up, yeah?
Stood up, mobilized young people, all these Kazora, Victor Bwana, they died, Bambe, they are not there now. If they were there, by the way, many of these people, they would not be with him, I'm telling you. Because they had gone to redeem this nation. They had gone to redeem this nation. And they came and redeemed it. Now that it has gone in a wrong direction, I don't advise them to go to the bush.
Yes.
Me, I advise them to rise up and say, this is our generation and it is time for us to have our generation. And mobilize themselves here under the law, not going to fight. Me, I don't want them to fight. I want them even to go and tell President Museveni. And
Okay.
and
Instead
tell
of
him,
using the opportunity to bow down.
And tell him, sir, you know, you have really served us. We came from far, but right now, we are here jobless. We are suffering, marijuana, alcoholism, because we are lost. We don't have, what to do. The robbery, corruption has finished all the money. The schools are down. The teachers cannot get salary. The doctors, we are here. So please, sir, you served your purpose. We are here. We are educated. Okay, we are here. But we need time to organize ourselves and also find a way and a new strategy of leading ourselves.
Doctor, as we end this interview, do you see President Museveni back on the ballot in 2026? Or, because I've interviewed some senior citizens saying that he would die in power. He has no hopes of even handing over power to his son.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. For me, I don't know, Bambe, what happened to this man. I don't know why he loves this power this much. And when we were there in the cabinet, President Museveni used, not in the cabinet actually, I think even in the parliament when we would be closed alone talking. He used to laugh at those people. He was laughing at Kenya, in fact at Moi. He said, you know what, I think these people, why they want to stay there is because they fear of what they have done.
Yes.
He used to say it, and please put it there.
Yes.
He used to say they fear, I think they have fear of what they've done. They fear that they will be persecuted.
They fear the consequences.
And he was saying, I think we should pass a law where we say that once the president has finished, they should not persecute them. He was telling us that if we pass that law, then they would be able to feel free to retire.
You've forgotten to pass the law. Oh,
no, he was just talking about it.
He was advising.
Now, when I see him loving powers, look, you are telling me that when he went to America and they asked him, are you coming again? He said, it is Ugandans who will choose. No! Ugandans, let me ask you, can Ugandans come and pick me from this house and take me to contest for elections when I don't want? Can they tell me? Can Ugandans come and say, Matembe, we want you come? If they came, I would tell them, now you know what? If you think I'm your president and you want me, you go and make sure you win everything, and when you are through, you give me the chair. But the president who says, when NRM calls me, I will go. Aren't you a human being? Do people choose for you? Do people choose for President Museveni? Didn't Honorable President Nyerere, he was called by his people. They said, you are not going yet. He told them, you people, no, it is time for me to rest. Because if I don't rest, when will other people take the position? He said, no, let us organize, let me go. And he left. So this horror, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to abuse the president, I want to use the word nonsense. But this horror thing, or this horror pretentious excuse of covering your determination to stay in power by saying that for me, if the NRM says yes, I will go. Why? What have you done to mobilize leadership in NRM? But do you think NRM is a party? NRM is equal to Museveni.
You still call it
because
a party?
Any silly party, I will call it silly this time, any silly party which has no rules, which has no leadership capacity, which bows to the whims of one person, which cannot have primaries for presidential elections, is not any useful party at all. It is in fact not a party.
Uganda y'enkya.